area of a square is represented by this polynomial, and we are to find the length of each side. So if we say that the area is going to equal to 9x squared minus 42x plus 49, right? Well, if we look at it, it does not, let's go ahead and see our sheet here. It does not, we cannot factor out a greatest common factor, right? It does not follow the difference of squares method, template, right? But it does follow the perfect squares. All right. And how do I know that? Because the first term is a perfect square, and the last term is a perfect square. The first term's perfect square is going to be 3x. The last term's square is 7. And 3x plus 7 is 21x times negative 2 is negative 42x. Right? So it fits the perfect square program. Let's go ahead and figure out what a and b are. So we'll say a squared is equal to 9x squared, and b squared is equal to 49. To figure out what a and b are, we're going to take the square root of both sides. So we're left with a is equal to 3x, and our b is equal to 7. All right. So then we can see that it is a perfect square, because if we multiply these two together, we'll get 21x, and we multiply by negative 2, and we get negative 42x. All right. So we can go ahead and write it as a set of factors. It's going to be a, 3x, minus b squared. All right. And what is 3x minus 7 squared? It is 3x minus 7 times 3x minus 7. Right. And so if a square has two sides that are the same length, then each side length is going to be 3x minus 7, right? Because we have 3x minus 7 times 3x minus 7. So each of these factors, since they're the same factor, is the length of the side of the square. So I'm going to put up here 3x minus 7. All right, let's go ahead and finish this last one down here. Use the rectangular prism at the right here, and write an expression for the height and width of the prism in terms of L. If L is 14, the length is 14, we need to write the height as in terms of L. So the height is equal to 8, right? But the height in terms of L is going to be equal to L plus, minus 6, because 14 minus 6 is 8, right? Now we need to write the width in terms of L, and so the width is going to be the L minus 10. Right? So 14 minus 10 is 4, the width. Okay, so we have the height and the width, and now the volume, right? So now here for B is write a polynomial for the volume of the prism in terms of the length. So what is the volume of a prism? It is length times width times height. Right, so all of them multiply by each other. So we're going to say volume is equal to the length times the width, L minus 10, times the height, L minus 6. And so we're going to go ahead and multiply that out. So what are we going to get? We're going to get L squared minus 10L times L minus 6. We're going to multiply that out, and we'll get L to the 3 minus 6L squared minus 10L squared is going to be negative 16L squared plus 60L. Okay. And so this here is our polynomial that represents the volume of the prism in terms of its length, right? We have L everywhere. So the height here is going to be L minus 6. The width is L minus 10. And part B, it is L to the 3 minus 16L squared plus 60L. And we are done.